And the live walks, we talk about whatever y'all want technology and what's going on with the channel. So I do have a video that I owe one of the viewers, and they were asking questions about Final Cut Pro 10. And if you want to export a video project from Final Cut Pro 10, how do you export from FCPX in a different resolution, kind of a non-standard resolution? Because typically, 4K is 3840 by 2160, and then there's 1920 by 1080. But what if you want to use a different resolution? How do you do it? Oh, we got a Gaming with Taekwon. Hey, welcome aboard, Taekwon. Good to have you here. Really good. Hoka 1-1. Yes, sir. Hybrid Life, I looked up, as soon as we finished that last live show, I looked up Philippe. Welcome aboard. So I looked at the Hoka 1-1s. I'm going to order some of those. Philippe, I got my Peugeot pepper mill, and I ground some of the best pepper, man. Super fresh. What I really liked about it was the adjustable grind size. So I can go from very finely ground pepper all the way up to more coarse. Super happy. Best pepper mill I've ever owned. And I looked it up when I unboxed it, man. I mean, it was like, and I know you said this too, but yeah, they made cars. They made mixers. They started out in like the 1800s making saws, like you would saw wood with. Peugeot is a pretty interesting company. And I've driven one of their cars I was in Anguilla, and I drove a Peugeot convertible around Anguilla. It was a pretty cool little vehicle. So yeah, and the Hoka 1-1s, man. Hybrid Life, we should try to team up with producer Michael or Kevin O'Leary. Yeah. Hey, I think if we could get Mr. Wonderful, or I would say go for Mr. Wonderful and then producer Michael number 2. But I'd be cool with pairing up with either of those, man. I think, we can do it. We just need to get our Hoka 1-1 zone and feel like a boss. Hoka 1-1s on the feet, Rolly on the wrist. You know how that goes. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Speaking of that, Hybrid Life, are you good for a live show this weekend in the studio? Proper live show with high quality audio. Well, what I think about Hoka is that they're not as expensive as I thought they might be. I didn't realize they also have flip-flops. And granted, I'm more of a flip-flop connoisseur than I am athletic. I mean, I wear shoes when I walk, but I don't know if I'd want to wear them out here because it's, the ground's kind of dirty and the grass is dirty. And yeah, the flip-flops, I think I'm going to start out with the flip-flops, just because the flip-flops I have now, I've worn for probably 5 years. So I need to get another pair. And I think that's probably what I'll do first. And then get some of the Hoka 1-1 athletic shoes for going to the gym and that sort of stuff. But I think out here, I'm just gonna wear my cheap shoes. They are seriously game-changing. Can't wait to see you review them. Oh, no doubt. And I'm so glad that that you turned me on to the Hoka 1-1s, because I'd never heard of them until you mentioned it. And then, like I said, as soon as I got back, got on the internet, researched them, and boom. Now I got to get some Hoka 1-1s. No doubt. So, yeah, very cool. Now, I didn't look at their history about how long have they been making shoes. I don't know. I mean, as far as shoes are concerned, man, I've been kind of... You should also make a video reviewing the Shot Tracer app for golf. Well, I did do a video. I got the Ping. It's an incredible app that's still new. That would be interesting. I need to check that out. But my Pings, I got the Ping G425s, and they have grips that are called Arcos. And basically, every time you make contact with the ball, number one, it knows which club you're using without having to type it in, and it knows where you shot from. So it keeps all of your shot tracks for you, including your putts. And then once it gets to know you, after a few rounds, then it'll make club suggestions. So Arccos has a virtual caddy component. So the app you just mentioned, yeah, it's very accurate. Now, with Arccos, there are a few things, excuse me, that I learned. Yeah, I'm gonna circle back to Arccos. Let's see, we're gonna talk about it here in a second. Philippe says, I'm thinking about either getting the new MacBook Pro M1X or a Mac Mini M1X coming in just a few weeks. Let's see. And then Kyle C says, Irix, man, where you been? Upload frequency is down. Yeah, I've been, actually, I'm working on a huge project. And I don't want to spoil what it is, but it's another component of the Irix Guys Adventure Channel's umbrella. And it's something I put a lot of effort into, and y'all will see it soon. So Kyle, good observation. And you're right, upload frequency has been down, and that's why. So I've got, yeah, I'm excited to unveil it, and I'm glad you asked about that. Yeah, if you don't need portability, I'd go with the Mac Mini. And the good thing about the Mac Mini, even though it doesn't have a screen, you could take that thing on the road, man. Just plug into a monitor somewhere. Go up, go to somebody's, take your Mac Mini and be like, hey man, can I borrow your monitor? You're like, why do you want to borrow a monitor? And be like, well, I didn't get a laptop, I just got the Mac Mini, but it'll plug into any monitor, most any monitor or TV. They'd be like, okay, dude, come on in. Just kind of be like the monitor bum if you take it on the road. But, in all seriousness, whether you get the Mac Mini or the MacBook, if it's like the original M1 like I have, it's probably going to be the same speed. Kyle says, sounds like a dandy. We'll keep an eye out for the new project. Definitely. Thank you. Philippe says, yes, I think so too, and save money too with Mac Mini M1X. Now, here's the thing. I had the Mac Mini M1, which was great. Admittedly, even though I have a nice monitor, I've got an LG 3840 by 2160 4K monitor, still have it. But when I got the iMac that had the same M1 processor, I never wanted to go back to the Mac Mini. And the reason is that the iMac's display is so awesome. It's just the 4.5K resolution is exceptional. And, you really become spoiled by those monitors. And it begs the question, and Apple's done it in the past, why does Apple not release a new monitor that you can use in conjunction with your Mac Mini or use in conjunction with your iMac? If you want to have a monitor, why doesn't Apple do that, It's really weird. It's super weird. But he says, yes, but the iMac screen is too small for me. Oh man, it's 24 inches. It depends. If you're used to the the outgoing iMac was a 27 inch. If you're used to that, it seems a little bit smaller, but honestly, I think if you used one, you may not. I use mine, in all fairness, I use my iMac monitor, and then right beside it, yeah, well, you could do what I do and get you a larger. I've got a 27 inch beside it, but see, it's only 4K. And the thing is about the iMac monitor, once you get used to the brightness and just the resolution and the overall vividness of the colors, it's hard to use any other brand of monitor. So, but I have a feeling the iMac Pro will probably be coming out. Even if they don't badge it the Pro, I bet they'll be coming out with an iMac that has a larger display, and probably the M1X or whatever they're going to release with it. But yeah, Arccos, back over to Hybrid Life about Arccos Golf. Works really well. Philippe says it's like TVs. Once you taste the big screen, you don't go back to small. Yeah, no doubt. I had a 41 in the bedroom, now I got a 65, and there's no way that I could go back to a smaller TV. And I don't watch a lot of TV. But, having it with the Sonos soundbar and the Sonos sub, it's just such a, just a good experience. It really draws you in, and it, when you're trying to relax, it's good to have good audio and good video and a big screen. So, yeah, it's, so the Arccos works really well. Arccos Golf, all my clubs have them built in. My putter's the only club that didn't come with the Arccos built in, but you just screw it in. So I've got a screw-in sensor in my putter, and then all my Ping fairway woods, my Ping driver, and my Ping irons, all of them have the Arccos grips. Very nice grips, feel like a regular grip, but they got the sensor. Now, a few things to be aware of with it is that when you're walking to and from the fairway, getting out of the cart and all that, you got to make sure your cell phone, in my case the iPhone, is in your pocket that faces forward. So I'm a right-hander, so my phone is in my left pocket, and your phone will detect every time your club makes contact with the ball. It'll detect which club you were using, and then it knows exactly where you were on the course. So when you take your next shot, see, it keeps track. So like when you tee off, you're probably using a driver if you're on a par 5. So I tee off with a driver. Then I take my second shot. My second shot's a 6-iron. So my first shot's already calculated, and it knows the distance of my first shot because it knew, okay, when I made contact with the ball in the tee box with my driver. And then it knew the ball landed where I was taking my second shot because that's when I picked up my 6-iron and took another shot. So it just goes on like that. And then after the 6-iron, if I hit a wedge, well, it'll know that my 6-iron made it to the wedge range. And then I hit a wedge, and then I start putting. So the things that it doesn't know is obviously if you have a stroke penalty. So you got to input those. So if I hit a drive, it goes into water hazard. I've got to add my stroke penalty to that. And then I think that would be, and I don't know how they would do it because, you go in a water hazard, you're obviously not taking the next shot from in the water. You're taking it in the the drop area. So that's one of the things where it's not 100% automated. Arccos is super cool. What I like about it, the batteries, and again, I've only been using it for a season, this golf season. And the batteries allegedly may last, I think, 2 years possibly. But obviously then you'd probably need, if you play a lot of golf like I do, you'd probably need to re-grip your clubs anyway. So I'm hoping, this is a technology that really catches on and continues to evolve. And when I do re-grip my clubs in about 2 or 3 years, that they'll have the grips readily available and this, that, and the other. So it's a good experience. Arccos Golf is good. Now I do want to check out Hybrid Life, the app that you mentioned, because I don't know, here's the thing. I like to test pretty much anything. And if it's golf related, I don't like the gimmicky stuff, but I like the stuff that enables me to track my game and view the analytics. That's the other piece about Arccos, is that all of this data, you can access it through the app, you can access it through the website, you can, you can see where your opportunities for improvement are, and then also, ultimately it makes the virtual caddy gets to know you, and it'll say, okay, well, here's a shot suggestion, here's a club, that you'd probably want to use. So it's really powerful tool. The I don't really have any complaints. It's a few things that I did notice. If you're out on the course and you take your phone out, you get in the cart and you get a phone call, naturally you probably put your phone in the golf cart's cup holder. It's just something you get used to. But with this, you got to proactively remember to put your phone back in your forward-facing pocket. So if you don't do that, you're it's not going to track your shots. And then you have to go back in after the fact and manually add them and kind of guesstimate where you were with each club. And that doesn't happen to me now because I'm used to it. They do have Apple Watch integration, and although I wanted it to work, it never worked well for me. I found that it did not track shots reliably. Hopefully that's an area where they can improve. Now they do have a belt clip that you can wear versus keeping your phone in your pocket, but I haven't tried it yet, and I've heard people that have, and they don't have super positive things to say about it. Apparently it may be more reliable than Apple Watch with Archos, but apparently it's not as good as just using your iPhone with Archos. So for that reason, I'm going to stick with using the iPhone. It works great. And again, just remember to keep it in your front pocket. And a few other things: when you're walking with your clubs, hold the grips down, because when you walk with your clubs with the grips down, the sensor's not activated. There could be times, and it doesn't happen to me because I do that. Could be times if your clubs cling together, say you're walking to the green, you got a wedge and a putter, or maybe you were dropped off on the fairway because your golfing buddy got mad at you, and you got a 3-iron, a wedge, and a putter. If those clubs cling together and make a certain sound, they could misdetect a stroke. But again, that doesn't happen to me. On rare occasions, it'll fail to register a putt. That's about the only complaint I've got with the Archos golf system right now. So I know that's a long rant. And again, I'm not sponsored by Archos. I just bought, a new set of Ping G425 irons and a Ping G425 driver and 2 Ping G425 fairway woods. And they all came with Archos, and I felt, hey, I'm going to use this. And it's probably something that, once my trial runs out, that I'll probably renew, because you get used to it. And, especially if you're a golfer and you don't, maybe you go a year or so without playing, you'll probably still somewhat remember your swing, but remembering the yardages, that's where a tool like this comes into play. So it's super nice. But okay, enough about Archos. What else is exciting? We got Philippe talking about the new Apple M1Xs that are coming out. We've got let's see, who else? We got the Hoka 1.1s. Kyle C's talking about looking forward to this project that's brewing. I tell you, Kyle C, I am super stoked, because this isn't part of the project that I'm putting together. It's going to be under the Irish Guys Adventure Channel umbrella, but one of the things that I am doing, getting some more Appalachian trail footage. So going out there, sleeping with the bears and the mountain lions, and filming some videos. So it'll be hopefully exciting. And this is kind of I'll go ahead and announce it on this show, but something I am going to be reviewing. It's actually a really cool tool. It's a bear alarm system. So you probably ask, well, what is a bear alarm system, and how would you use it? So it's about the size of, of a standard car key fob, very small. It uses those, those batteries, the flat ones, the CR whatevers. And basically, and I'll be doing a video of this, several videos of it. But basically, it's got a loop on each end. And what you can do once you get to your campsite is use fishing line or paracord or whatever type of, rope that you have, or you just use a vine and just wrap it around the perimeter of your campsite, and get a decent height. And if a bear or a mountain lion or something comes through and trips on it, it'll make the piece disconnect, and it sends out a very high decibel alarm that, and again, to be tested, but should be audible on one battery. I think they said maybe a half hour or so. So if you haven't scared the bear or the mountain lion away by then, it's probably already eaten you. So, just a good early warning system. I mean, obviously, when you're in bear country, when you're backpacking in bear country, you always want to have bear spray. You always want to be bear aware. Don't be a fool. Don't keep your food don't cook in your camping area. go a little bit away and cook. Don't keep your food and all that in your tent. In your tent, all you want is yourself, an air horn, some bear spray. And I would question bear spray in a tent, because in a bear encounter type scenario, if you had the bear spray in your tent and you sprayed it because you were panicking, you could potentially spray yourself and the bear, and then it's just a bad situation because you're in the tent. So then you got a bear in the tent with you. You've been sprayed with bear spray, and the bear's been sprayed with bear spray. So for that reason, when I go in the tent, no food, none of that. It's all suspended at a safe height from a bear pulley system. But when I go in the tent, I have my air horn, I have an acceptable pistol and flashlight, and some water. Water's not scented. None of that flavored water stuff, just regular water. And then that way, I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm thirsty, boom, I got water to drink. I wake up in the middle of the night, the alarm's going off, the bear alarm. Okay, well then I get the air horn. If it gets too close, you got the pistol. So, it's you gotta be bear aware, man. Because so many people aren't, and you hear about, there's bear encounters all the time. And just because it's not a grizzly bear, that doesn't mean it's a friendly bear. Grizzlies and polar bears are typically the most aggressive bears. But a black bear can be aggressive as well. If they're hungry, that it's not like they're being polite. It's like, may I have something to eat? They're not gonna have, man. They're just gonna be like, okay, there's food. And if you're the food, well, they're coming after you. Or if you were out there cooking bacon by your campfire, and then you rubbed it all over your pants and your shirt before you got in the tent, you're the fool. So, the bear's not, bear's not gonna ask permission. A bear's just gonna come eat. And that's, the food that it finds, or the food that it smells on you. So, be bear aware, man. Be very, very, very bear aware. There you go. So, yeah, that's coming. Some more Appalachian Trail adventures here on Irish Guys Adventure Channel. And, just getting back in the turbo fitness mode. Fitness is so important, staying in shape. I know so many people, I would never drop names, but I know so many people that, and I'm sure y'all do too, people that just, get a little bit older and they're like, oh, I'm just not going to care anymore. And they don't work out effectively, and their diet becomes really poor, and this, that, and the other. There's no excuse for not working out. If you need motivation, this channel, Irish Guys Adventure Channel, where you're watching this, I will motivate you. I will be your drill sergeant. Yes, sir. So we'll keep you motivated. That's what it's all about. Being healthy and participating in as many adventures as possible. So that's coming. And then the big thing, the project Kyle C that I was talking about, I can't break the news yet, but it's coming to the channel. So everybody out here watching, just be sure to subscribe. And it's gonna be, if I execute like I plan to with it, it's gonna be big. And again, with this YouTube thing, always remember, one thing that I always remember with it is there's always going to be some larger YouTube channels, but again, it's all about how you handle your content, how you interact with your audience, and ultimately, the content and audience are the two kings. Audience number one. So always keep your audience first, and regardless of how audience first, and keep that engagement, because that's where I've seen a lot of YouTubers kind of fall off the cliff. The ones that they pass that first 100,000 subscriber mark, which I haven't hit that yet. I'm getting close, but they pass that, and then they become so large that they don't really maintain that constant contact with their audience. And man, your subscribers, they're your most important people. So always keep that open channel of communication with your subscribers, because without subscribers, you don't have a YouTube channel. If if you're just creating content and nobody's watching it, you know, that's of no value. So always remember your subscribers are your number one component. So again, when this new component of the channel drops, yes, it is going to bring in a lot of growth, but again, it's always going to be number one. It will always be an independent YouTube channel. I'm not part of a multi-channel network. Never will be. Have no desire to be. It's my own show. So, you know, it's going to be now. Will it hit the point when I launch this to where there will have to be some staff? Probably so. You know, that's probably going to happen. And but that's not going to be like a lot of things. This is not a thing where you grow it, where you experience astronomical growth and then you just pawn it off to other people. No, it's not like that, because this channel has always been and will always remain my channel. So, you know, it's not my goal to ever, you know, pass the baton to anybody else, because I feel confident that this next step that I'm working to implement. Nani, the Sweaty Gamester. Nani, welcome aboard, the Sweaty Gamester. Speaking of that, I gotta do another Call of Duty live stream, man. Got everybody here. Got several gamers in the house tonight. That's cool. Really enjoying the PlayStation 5. What's everybody think? Do you like the PlayStation 5, the PS5, or the Xbox Series X? Which one do you like best and why? The Sweaty Gamester, yes. Oh man, I'm gonna film some more gameplay. PS4, yeah, PlayStation's hard to beat, man. I mean, I like that it's not, you know, here's the thing. I don't like Microsoft Windows, and every time I turn on an Xbox, I'm reminded that this is an operating system that was developed by Microsoft, and I'm like, no. And the reason I have that is that, you know, I'm an Apple dude, and not just an Apple dude, but primarily a Linux and Unix guy. You know, I don't care about Windows. It's buggy, it crashes. You know, if you don't keep your antivirus up to date, you're just going to get riddled with viruses and adware, and it's a pitiful operating system. And I know, you know, a lot of people are like, man, you know, there's not as much. People could could make the argument that, well, you know, I'd use an Apple, but there aren't enough applications for it. Well, there are now. Now, there's not a lot of games, but if you use Apple for your computer, or a Linux machine for your computer, then you can just use your game console, you know, like PS5 or PS4 or Xbox, whatever, for your gaming, and just don't do it on the PC or the Mac. Problem solved. Then you don't have to deal with Microsoft Windows and having to deal with antivirus and all that junk. Windows puts me in a bad mood, man. I mean, if you want to see, all I gotta do is log into a Windows machine and I'm already in a bad mood, just because Bill Gates created a pretty cool operating system, but it's just become riddled with vulnerabilities. It's pitiful. Why not use Unix? And again, Mac OS 10 is Unix. It's a Unix operating system. So think of Mac OS as, evening guys, Silas, welcome aboard, sir. Good to have you back. Yeah, Mac OS is just is a very pretty, very refined version of Unix that has a lot of commercial applications, including Microsoft Office. So people, well, you know, I'd run a Mac, but there aren't apps. You can buy Office for the Mac. Put Microsoft Office on your Mac. That's the only Microsoft product you ever need. You know? I mean, come on. Kyle C says, updated my iPhone to iOS 15, runs like a hot turd now. Yeah. Man, iOS 15. So what have you discovered in it? What's the good that you discovered and the negative aspects? I updated it as well. I updated the day it came out. And I don't know, man. I get tired of all these, do you know your whatever app is tracking you? And this, that, and the other. I'm like, of course I know that. Because if it didn't track me, then I wouldn't track all my mileage. You know, I use an app to where I can track all my mileage for for business purposes, and then those are mileage deductions when I'm driving around for business, for my YouTube business. Those are mileage deductions, and I don't want to have to think about turning that on and off. It's just automatic. So yeah, Apple just keeps reminding me, did you know this app is tracking? Yes, I do. Shut up. That's what I want to tell them, but they keep reminding me. Cal C says, bit disappointed with Apple. Well, Tim Cook's good, but even though Tim Cook's great, I mean, it would be impossible, and I'm sure Apple would find a way to clone Steve Jobs. I mean, he was not just a visionary, but he was passionate about it. And, he did a lot more than Apple. He had that little stank thing with Next, N-E-X-T computers. He had the falling out with Apple, and then his big thing, man, I remember when Apple stock was around a few bucks a share, and I regret not buying more of it. But that was before they had the success of the iPod, which of course trickled into the iPhone, which was like the mega phone, the best phone ever made. If we could have only seen that coming. The thing is that Steve Jobs, being such a visionary and creating all that technology stuff that we hold in our hands right now, like I am, while I'm doing this walk show, iPhone 12 Pro. We're holding this technology and we just take it for granted. It's going to be hard for Tim Cook or anyone to create something that's perceived to be as innovative as the iPhone. Now, I'm sure there's a product out there. Eventually Apple Car's coming. Cal C says, the industry is really getting stagnant now. Minor incremental improvements. Nobody really doing anything. Great point. That's the case with Apple. The iPhone 13, well, I don't have any need to upgrade from iPhone 12 Pro. Now, if they put USB-C on an iPhone, I want to upgrade to that. I'm tired of Lightning port. GoPro's another example. GoPro just released the GoPro Hero 10 Black. Well, I bought the GoPro Hero 9 Black last year, still using it, and I'm going to have to film a video about this, but, is the upgrade from GoPro Hero 9 Black to GoPro Hero 10 Black necessary? No. I mean, yeah, it's got a faster processor, but, the Hero 9 Black is perfectly fine. If I didn't have one, I would go with the latest, but, you get faster menu performance on the Hero 10 Pro the Hero 10 Black because of the faster processor, but do you really need that? Who cares how fast the menus load? I know faster is better, but is that really a reason to upgrade? I don't think it is. Let's see. Silas says, are you going to get the Mavic 3? Yeah, probably so. Admittedly, man, I probably will get it because I want to do all the reviews and all that. It's just, the thing is now with drones is that it's just so hard to go to a bunch of cool places and film with them. Number one, you got the regulatory things now, the heightened regulatory things, but then number two, you got this current situation where it's pretty much doing what's the word for it? We're pretty much getting to where we're being, there's government overreach. What do you think about the rough week with the market so far? Well, Cal C, I've been watching. Actually, I've had a few REITs, real estate investment trust, that have outperformed the market this week. But the market, obviously, as a whole, is down. And I think, and I don't know if this is going to be the massive market correction, but we're long overdue for a massive market correction. So I think now is, and again, this is just for entertainment purposes only. This is not investment advice. This is just for fun. If you invest in stocks, expect to lose it all, because that's probably what's going to happen. But just for fun, my thing is that, now is one of those times where it's a good time my thoughts are, I think it's a great time to have a lot of cash on hand, because I think, when that, historically, when the market corrects really drastically, that correction, for people that felt that it was coming, that correction could be an opportunity to get in low. The way they always say with stocks, buy low, sell high, unless you're shorting them. Yeah, so yeah, it's I think we're long overdue for a major stock market correction. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's been a brutal week for most of the market, but I don't know, man. I've gotten did a lot with penny stocks, and then they're fun, but you win some, you lose some. I've really gotten big into the heavy, the ones with significant dividends. It's more of I've gotten more into a accumulate and hold. And let's see, Hybrid Life says market went down due to Yellen and Powell wanting to raise debt ceiling, or else debt crisis imminent. Yeah. Speaking of that, what Hybrid Life, I know you're a big precious metals guy. What are your thoughts about gold and silver right now? I know you were really strong, or really bullish gold several months ago. Curious what you think about it today. Talking about the physical, not the ETFs. I don't know if you do the exchange traded funds or not for gold and silver, but there's a honker horn. Whoa, sorry for that noise. Sorry for the noise. So, Hybrid Life from Cal C. What do y'all think about the market? Hybrid Life says, I think short term they will be volatile, but 12 to 18 month extreme bullish with hyperinflation coming to reality. Yeah, hyperinflation, I agree, it's imminent. Yeah, it's, all you gotta do is look at, here's what I tell people that aren't even semi-savvy with stocks. Kyle C says start stacking. Amen to that. Stacking that physical. So, yeah, people that aren't even savvy with stocks, I say, okay, do this. And they're like, what's that? I will explain this stuff in depth on our show. Speaking of that, email me, let me know which day you want to do the show this weekend, because we got to do that, man. It'll be really cool. But yeah, just something simple like, if you eat a certain thing for breakfast every day, in your phone, just create a log of, I pretty much eat the same thing every day. And I've seen just that food item. I was getting $4.27 for my biscuit and my hash browns and my unsweet tea. Hybrid Eye says, I think it should be focused more on the market, this show. Yeah, definitely. Let's make that the focal point. Yeah, this weekend show, definitely. But yeah, it was like $4.27 after tax. Now that same combo, just a few months later, is $6.27. So that's just one example. And people are like, oh, that's just a few bucks. Yeah, but look at your gas prices. Cal C says, give us some notice. Definitely. As soon as Hybrid Life lets me know when we're going to do it, I'm going to send out a live show invite on the channel so we can all plan to be there. But yeah, that's just one example. A few bucks increase for breakfast. Well, your gas is also going up. Well, guess what? Your delivery fees are increasing. Your items in the grocery store, something as simple as a can of mayonnaise, a jar of generic mayonnaise. Watch that in price inflation. What used to be cheap is now probably $1 or so more. Well, that's just one item. See, what people that aren't financially knowledgeable assume it's like, well, that's just a few bucks. No, but if you've got a few bucks for breakfast, you got a few bucks for gas, you've got a few bucks for groceries. Well, then your heating and cooling bills, you got additional bucks for that. Everything you get delivered, well, those delivery fees are increasing. Well, delivery fees increase, so does the cost of the goods. So you're getting around the board increase, and there's going to be a point to where, all of this people won't be able to sustain. I mean, I know, there's a lot of brilliant people out there, and hopefully everybody on this show is part of that category. But there's a lot of people that aren't, and there's a lot of people that, just whether willingly or maybe they just convince themselves that they should ignore it, they ignore it and they don't plan. I've been expecting the total economic collapse for many years, probably about 10 or so years now. Doing everything I can to plan. And Hybrid Life's making a really interesting point here. He says, this is why minimum wage increases and other government programs hurt those it intends to help. Big government knows this, though, and allows more control. Again, I will talk about this on our show as well. Yeah, Hybrid Life, send me that email. Let me know when we're going to do that show this weekend, because, we need to entertain and educate the world, because, I mean, this is, it's going to hit a point to where, and then now, in all of this, we got the freaking taxes, and the United States are going up. So, it's getting critical. I mean, what should people do? And even if you don't, and a lot of people don't know a lot about taxes, and that's fine. And something I like to say, Hybrid Life says this stuff is imminent, and if we talk about it and nail it on the head, it could be huge for us. Definitely. Maybe we'll be the Nostradamus guys and foresee the future. And it's not that hard to foresee if you put all the clues together. And the thing is that, see, what a lot of people don't realize, especially if you don't, if you're just, let's say you're just a W-2 employee, that's cool. But when you run your own businesses, it's all rigged. So if you hit a certain point, then you enter a different tax bracket. And it's not just like, oh, well, there's a different tax bracket, but then there's logic is foreseeing the future, says Hybrid Life. But then you enter that different tax bracket, then there's additional penalties. So, people that are innovating and hustling to make more, to generate more wealth, to try to keep up with the imminent inflation, they're actually, the problem is that, you're planning to do that, but when you make more, unless you make an astronomical amount more, you could really be making less. So there's a lot of stuff that that people, small business owners should be aware of. I mean, there's things that can be done if you, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. But there's things that people can speak with their accountants and stuff about, to where you can kind of plan. And that's been the biggest pain point for me, with these ventures that I run, is just, keeping, taking advantage of everything I can, and not making more and putting myself less, if that makes sense. Because you hit a certain point, it's crazy. Worst tax bracket to be is the lowest, and this is through inflation tax, which makes rich more rich. Again, another very important point I need to educate people on for entertainment purposes only. No doubt, Hybrid Life is the king when it comes to finance, man. Finance and wristwatches. So can't wait for this live show, man. I mean, just email me and tell me the day and the time this weekend, and we'll make it happen. But yeah, we gotta chat about this, because I mean, there's things that the people may not even realize, and it's like, oh, and again, not none of these statements are political. I'm not politicizing any of this. I'm just stating fact. And something as simple as just a day, track your week, track everything you spend during the week this week, and then just continue to do that. Keep your iPhone out, have a little notepad in there. Breakfast costs this, grocery store costs this, da-da-da-da-da. And then do the same the next week, the next month. And look from week to week, observe the increase, the price increase. and then observe the price increase month to month. Then look at your total income. I mean, that's everything you do. Are you a small business owner, or do you work multiple jobs like I do? What do you do? And and then look, okay, well, at this rate of increase in cost of goods, just the essentials, food and gas and housing and all that, what do you have to do to not just sustain an acceptable existence, but what do you have to do to thrive? How much do you have to make? And if you make X amount, is that too much? Because then you get penalized really hard because of taxes. It's crazy, man. It really is. Hybrid Life says it's sad when even have to preface that this is entertainment purposes only, just another example of indirect socialism. Yes. Yeah. Freedom of speech is, and that, here's the thing. I'm an older dude. And, when I was young, we went to school and we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And, there was none of this. Well, there was a minimal amount of political correctness. Political correctness is, it's the downfall of society, but not only is it that, but political correctness is it's kind of like opening the door. Hybrid Ice is still a kid relative to most people. I appreciate that. But yeah, political correctness is kind of like somebody knocks on your door and then, they're selling candy bars or something. Well, and then the next time they come, then they're wanting to come in your house and audit everything you got. And then the next time they come, they're like, oh, well, we observed that you had this, and that last time. Therefore, here's your taxes for blah, 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 blah. Political correctness is just stripping away individuals' rights. And, if you think you've got freedoms now, you need to hold on to them, because once you let go, it's kind of like letting go of that candy bar. You got a candy bar, you let go of it, you're not going to get it back. Somebody's going to eat it. They're not going to give it back to you. So never let go of your freedoms, because once you let go of them, they're never going to come back. And we're on a path, society on a path straight to hell. There's no doubt about it. Kyle says, this last year was a massive opportunity for many with working from home where they could have saved as much on daily expenses. Unfortunately, in most cases, it all went to garbage you didn't need. Well, and see, the other thing is, the bad part about, and this is talking about the working from home, see, that killed, because of the virus and all that, that killed the restaurant industry because people weren't going out to eat. So what's happened to restaurant now? Now you go out, and even if you're doing carry out, you're paying a premium price for that food because, they had to mark up because they don't have the in-restaurant traffic like they used to have. Also, their cost of supplies, chicken, beef, everything's going up. So, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, that year of working from home was great because, you just, but like you said, you end up buying some stuff you don't really need. I bought a lot of stuff that I felt would generate ROI, return on investment. And that was my studio equipment. That's one thing I was happy about. It was a lot of money. Hybrid Irix, remind me to tell you why being an employer is much more difficult than what people think. Most people envy the employer because they make the lion's share. I need to break this down to red pill people. There you go. Yeah, and I know you'll do a great job. Well, Hybrid Life, Cal C, can't wait for the live show this weekend. We're going to talk about this economical mess that we're all in, why the economy is about to collapse. It can be an entertaining conversation. Hey, bring your bottle of booze. We can have a good time talking about it. Hybrid Life says, gosh, I don't know why I haven't started my channel yet. Such potential. Yeah, it's dude. Yeah. The thing is, YouTube is a serious business, man. You just gotta keep it going. I mean, that's the thing. But speaking of that, y'all, it's I'm gonna do some YouTube videos, and yeah, shoot me a message. Let me know when this weekend to do the live show. we'll do it. We'll talk about that and all kinds of good stuff. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Cheers, Hybrid Life. Kyle C, Philippe, everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all so much for tuning in as always. And see you on the next live.